Hello, hello, beautiful. If no one told you today that you are beautiful, let me be the one to tell you. This is the Estrogen Chronicles, Her Plate, Her Power. I'm your host, functional nutritionist Gail Thorpe. So grab your pen and your paper and your tea and let's get into it. Hi, ladies. You may hear a little hoarseness in my throat today. You remember last week I was losing my voice a little bit? Well, I kind of did lose it. And these allergies, everything acts up. So bear with me. I'm so happy to be here today, guys. I love talking to you. I love teaching you about things, how you can take back the power of your plate. That's what we're here for. And today our topic is going to be about stress. Stress. Okay. Now that is a topic that is never going to go away because we're all under some form of stress, right? But there are some things that we can do to help prevent stress or help to completely take it out of our lives. Because at the end of the day, it's not worth it. Stress can lead to all kinds of problems. And we want to make sure that we take back our plate when it comes down to stress. So there are different kind of triggers that happen when we are stressed out. Okay, we can be triggered by work pressures, relationship conflict, financial strain. It could be because of a chronic illness or pain. It could be because of hormonal changes like perimenopause, menopause, and PMS. And we talked about all three of those these last couple of weeks. It could be poor nutrition or blood sugar imbalances. It could be lack of sleep. It could be the overuse of stimulants like caffeine or sugar. It could be even emotional trauma or unresolved past events. Okay? These are some of the things that can actually help trigger stress in your life. And what it also does with stress, it activates the fight or flight system within your sympathetic nervous system. And with you having stress for a long period of time, it can lead to your elevated cortisol or adrenaline. And your cortisol, by the way, is your stress hormone. It could be leading to blood sugar imbalances. It can suppress your immune system. Now, that's an important one because when we talk about stress and how it can kill you, this is how it can kill you. Because it suppresses your immune system, and your immune system is built up in your body to help to basically block out any kind of viruses that you may get. And with increased stress constantly, it will allow that immune system to drop down, and then pathogens, viruses, everything can begin to attack us. It increases inflammation in your body also, which is another thing that can eventually lead to chronic conditions, chronic disease. It can increase hormonal disruptions. It can lower your progesterone, your thyroid, and it actually can suppress the thyroid. And with elevated stress, it can lead to poor digestion and gut dialysis. It can also increase the risk of heart disease. And something that as women we don't like, it can accelerate aging. We don't want that. Come on. We don't want that. So these are some of the things that can happen with prolonged stress. Now, some of the symptoms that a woman can have when they're under stress, and please bear with me, my voice is going a little bit, but we're gonna plow through this no matter what. Some of the symptoms that you can have, you can have physical stress. You're going to feel very tired, which you're going to have fatigue. It's going to be hard for you to sleep. You have insomnia. You start to have more headaches. And then, again, like we talked about your digestion, you will have a lot of bloating. And then cramping, especially during the time of your menstruation. You'll have muscle tension. You can have low libido. And you start to have thinning hair. Now, as women, we don't want to have any thinning hair. But actually, sometimes when we start to see that happening, it's coming from stress, especially prolonged stress. And let me make this clear, guys. We all can have stress at some point. Let's say if you're in school, you may have a paper that you have to do, and that can stress you out. You could be at work and you have a presentation that you have to do. That can stress you out for a minute. That's normal. But what I'm basically talking about and digging into more today is prolonged stress. Okay? Prolonged stress. And a lot of us have that because of situations we just talked about. Some of the emotional and behavioral changes is anxiety, irritability, mood swings, difficulty concentrating, feeling overwhelmed or tearful, and emotional eating. And we talk about taking back our plate and being healthy, but a lot of times when we are under a lot of stress, we tend to go for the chips a lot more. We tend to eat more sweets like chocolates, right? I know I'm hitting a nerve right now. We tend to feel those things or want those things because we're under stress. So it will lead to emotional eating. Definitely. Now, there are times that you may need to see a doctor. Okay? And I always like to bring out those things because I want you to differentiate the difference of when you're going through stress because of a paper that's due for school, or you're going through prolonged stress because of a situation. Okay? But again, there are times when you may need to see your doctor, and I want you to understand when those times can come. If you start to experience any kind of chest pain or palpitations, when you have severe insomnia, like you just cannot sleep and you're up all the time, and this is going on for months, maybe even a year. You have panic attacks. Those panic attacks that you're feeling could be coming from your stress, the prolonged stress. You have unexplained weight loss or weight gain. And if some of you out there are emotional eaters, then you might start seeing some weight gain. But everybody handles stress differently. You may also experience some major mood changes like depression, suicidal thoughts. You can have chronic pain, and the pain can start to worsen. And then you can have hormonal imbalances. Your symptoms actually start to get severe. This is when stress now is starting to become extremely serious and acute, and you will need to see your doctor. Okay? Okay? So I wanted to bring that to your attention because, like I always try to do, is make you understand that, again, there are symptoms that you're having, but sometimes those symptoms can be actually related to something else that may need attention. Okay. So when we talk again about stress, women particularly, we tend to have stress, and it definitely affects certain parts of our body, like I kind of just mentioned. So with stress, hormonal disruption, this can be irregular cycles, your menstruation, PMS starts to worsen, and if you're going through perimenopause, your perimenopause symptoms can worsen too. Yes, believe it or not. We talked about the weight gain. Now you're starting to actually have abdominal fat. And that can be due to high stress or high cortisol. So if you're noticing that your stomach has gotten bigger and you're like, wait, what's going on? And you try to do sit-ups, you try to do everything you can, but your stomach is not going down and it just came from nowhere. That can be a sign that you have high cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, and now you have extra belly fat. This can affect your thyroid. It can actually lead to chronic stress suppresses your thyroid. It causes fatigue and again, weight gain. You have skin issues like eczema and your acne starts to flare up more. And then again, when we talk about your gut health, it actually, stress can alter your gut bacteria and it can increase gut permeability. Basically meaning that if you have, let's face it, in your gut you're going to have good and you're going to have bad bacteria. That's with all of us. That's why it's so important to take a probiotic. But what we don't want is to have too much of the bad, right? Because that can lead to a lot of other issues. Your gut actually is your second brain. And we'll talk about the gut in another session. But these are some of the things that can happen with your gut when you're under a lot of stress. And then your emotional well-being, constant mood swings, anxiety, depression. These are all under risk when we are stressed out. So you begin to see now, just hearing the things that I'm mentioning, stress can do a lot of things. Lots of things. It can affect your mood. It can affect your stomach. It can affect your hormones. It can do so many things. But as always, we talk about some of the things that we can do naturally to help us to combat or possibly eradicate it. So sometimes we can take some supplements. And I say sometimes because if you're under doctor's care and you're taking medicine, you always want to make sure and check, like I say all the time, that you can take these different supplements. Now, magnesium glycinate is a really good supplement to help to calm your nervous system. It improves your sleep, and it just relaxes your muscles. Oh, you want to feel like you're floating, but in a natural way. Ashwagandha. You've heard me talk about that before. That's an adaptogen. And that helps to lower your cortisol. And again, your cortisol is what? It is your stress hormone. Okay? You have L-theanine. That helps to promote calm and it gives you more of a focus without sedation. Okay? And then you have your omega-3s. You've always heard me talk about that. This helps to reduce your inflammation in your body and it also supports brain health. And that's important because your brain also helps into regulating your mood, just like your hormones can can. So we want to make sure we want to get that inflammation out of our body. We want to make sure that our brain is functioning normal. That's important. And vitamin B complex, that actually helps to support your energy. It helps to produce your neurotransmitter production. And it helps to make you more resilient to stress. Okay? Rhodiola. This actually enhances resilience as well. And it reduces any kind of form of fatigue. So there are things out here naturally that you can do to help to combat the stress. But the most important thing that I want to make sure you understand is that you must address it. Because, being stressed out for a paper that you need for college is one thing, but to constantly be stressing for months and months and even possibly years is another thing. And we need to get a hold of that because it will start to tear down our body, tear down our immune system, tear down our hormone system and how we function. And we don't want that. We definitely don't want that. Some of the good foods that we can eat to help to take back our stress. We want to do leafy greens. Again, this is rich in magnesium. We just talked about that, how that can calm the body. Avocados. That's healthy in fats and potassium. Berries. These are antioxidants. Salmon and sardines is loaded with the omega-3s with help with inflammation. Turkey. Turkey actually has tryptophan in it for the serotonin, which helps also to calm us. You have yogurt or kefir. These are probiotics that you can take for gut brain, okay? Because they actually work together, believe it or not. You have pumpkin seeds. That helps with magnesium and zinc. And dark chocolate in small amounts. That has the flavonoids. So I always like to make sure you understand that food can definitely help us. Lifestyle changes can help us. But we must start to act now. Now we want to make sure we stay away from things that help to exacerbate the stress, which is excessive caffeine, definitely sugary drinks and snacks, refined carbs like white bread and pasta, alcohol, a lot of processed meat. Artificial sweeteners can actually disrupt your gut health. Trans fats. These are things that we want to stay away from. Okay, guys. Now, I hope you've been writing all that down because those are things that are extremely, extremely important and we must be aware of. Okay. Now, I'm very much a big component of essential oils. I'm actually, outside of being a functional nutritionist, I'm also a aromatherapist. And I know that sometimes just doing something like burning essential oils can actually help. Okay? When you smell it or put it on your pillow at night. Okay? Or putting it on a nice Kleenex tissue. That can actually help you to feel better. Some of the essential oils that help with stress, lavender. Lavender is very calming. It helps to reduce anxiety, which happens to be one of my favorites. I have many. You have bergamot. That's very uplifting, and it actually helps to reduce cortisol. And then you have Roman chamomile. This helps to soothe your nerves and promotes your sleep. You have frankincense. That's very grounding and balancing. And then you have clary sage. That is a hormone balancing, actually. And it helps with emotional tension. And you can actually diffuse these. You can put it in your bath water, right? And if you actually want, you can dilute it by having a carrier oil and put it on as massage your body. I'm going to tell you a trick that I do. I'll take a Kleenex tissue and I drop a few drops of lavender on that tissue. And then I sit back, put my head back, and put that tissue right on my face. And I can inhale it, and it just smells so good. And I'll put on some relaxing music and calm myself down. And I am telling you guys, that works instantly. It really does. It really does. Because our bodies respond to essential oils. Especially when you have good oils. That's important. Okay. We have covered a lot of territory today. When it comes down to stress, we talked about, what triggers stress. We talked about what it can do to your body. How it can break down your hormone system. How it can break down your gut and why. We talked about the foods that we can have, the essential oils that we can use. We talked about a lot of things, but I wanted to really hone in on this topic because I know for me, I have clients that, have a lot of stress in their lives. And I want them and you to be aware when to see the doctor and when you can deal with this on your own. And actually, most of the time, you can do this on your own. But it's important that you know the difference. Now, when it comes to exercise, there's nothing wrong with doing, working out like 30 minutes a day. That's all. 30 minutes a day, guys, can help. And then you can do the yoga or Pilates. You could just simply walk. What's also nice? If you have like a walking area in your town, maybe find out if you do. Because if you have a walking area in your town, sometimes they may have a little lake there. And you could just walk, take your time. That'd be really very relaxing. I know I would love that, actually. Just doing things to get back into nature. Not just staying in the home or not just staying in your office all the time. Get into nature. It's very grounding. It helps to take your mind off of things. And one of my all-time favorite things to help with stress is dancing. I absolutely love to dance. Absolutely do. And my favorite dance that I basically do is ballroom dance, believe it or not. I'm a ballroom dancer. But I also like to dance just period. So you can literally be in your home and dance like nobody is watching. Or if you want, you can take some classes. I know in my studio, they have group classes that you can take. Salsa, those type of things. It's fun, very much fun. And it's definitely something that can help with anxiety and depression. Because when I dance, I didn't remember, why was I stressed out? I don't know. Because it releases the right type of chemicals out of your brain. And one of the most important is your endorphins. And dancing is a great form of exercise. And when we talked about your gut and we talked about how you start to develop belly fat, dancing is a great way to get it down. And you don't even realize it because you're having so much fun. That's the key. So as always, we come to that time where a gift is going to be given to you, all of you guys. So this way you can implement some of the things that we talked about. You can implement them now. And I felt that I'm going to give you two things today. I'm going to give you a recipe. That's right, a stress-soothing dinner recipe. So like I said, make sure, I always say, have your pen and paper ready because you don't know what I'm going to throw at you. So we're going to do a lemon salmon and spinach and quinoa. We want to have a 1 salmon fillet. Do you love salmon as much as I do? I love it. But guess what now? If you don't like salmon, you can always change it out for chicken. 1 cup of cooked quinoa, 2 cups of baby spinach. You want to have a juice of a half lemon, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and then you want to do a seasoning. So I would recommend a sea salt, pepper, and garlic. Okay? You want to make sure you have your oven preheated to 350. And you want to place that salmon on a baking sheet. You want to drizzle with some olive oil, lemon juice, and sprinkle with your sea salt, your pepper, and your garlic. And you want to bake this for 12 to 15 minutes until it's cooked through. Now, while that salmon is baking, you want to saute your spinach in olive oil until it is wilted. You want to serve on a bed of quinoa with the spinach. Now, the benefits to this is having your omega-3s, having your magnesium, having your antioxidants, and your protein, which all support stress reduction and hormone balance. And it's actually very good and tasty. Okay? Now, I'm not going to forget about another gift, and that is a stress-relieving juice. And we're going to call this our green common juice for stress. So we're going to have 1 cucumber, 2 celery stalks, and 1 green apple. We're going to have a half lemon and 1 small bunch of spinach or kale, and a 1-inch pinch of fresh ginger. And if you want, it's optional, but you also can include a handful of mint if you like. You want to go ahead and juice all of those ingredients, and you want to drink it fresh. So you don't want to juice it and wait 10 hours later. If you drink it right when it's finished, it's nice and fresh, and it will give your body the necessary live nutrients that it needs. Now, this juice is actually very hydrating. It's rich in magnesium, vitamin C, antioxidants, and what it actually helps do is support your adrenal health, and it calms your nervous system. Wow. Is that not nice? I also have another gift. Woohoo! I'm just giving all this good stuff to you because I know the stress is a big, big topic. And people are always asking me, what can I do for the stress? And like I said, there are things that you can do naturally to help you. So we talked about some of the essential oils that actually help with stress. And I mentioned that lavender is one of my favorites, but that's just one. I have many. What I want to do is give you a nice, calm, and balanced blend to help with the stress using essential oils. So we want to start with 4 drops of lavender. Remember, that's very calming and it's very grounding. And then we want to put in 3 drops of bergamot. Now, the bergamot is very uplifting and it eases tension. And we want to do 2 drops of clary sage. This helps to support our hormonal balance and it eases emotional stress. And then we want to do 2 drops of frankincense. That's deep and grounding, and it helps with emotional resilience. And then 1 drop of geranium, which helps to balance your mood. It softens the stress on the heart. And you can do this, once you finish with that blend, you can diffuse it. Okay? And you can do this when you have it diffused. You can literally smell that amazing aroma throughout the home, which can change your mood. It really, really works. Or you can fill it in a roller, or put it with a roller bottle and a carrier oil, and you can put this mixture on your wrist, your neck, your heart center, or behind your ears. And a carrier oil that's good is you can use. Let's see, I like a nice a almond oil. You could use. They have coconut oils. You can use. They're different ones. And you can use this in the morning and at night when you're feeling stressed out. Okay, guys. So with that oil that I believe in so much, when you have the lavender plus the bergamot, that's going to definitely calm your body and your mind. The clary sage and geranium together help support the hormones and your emotional stability. And then with the frankincense, it's deep and grounding to reduce the overwhelming feeling of stress that we don't want to have. Okay. So, I have one more thing to give you. Emotional rescue blend. Now, these are moments when you feel overwhelmed, you're having panic attacks, and may even have sudden stress, and you need something right away. So again, you can diffuse this or put it in a roller bottle. 4 drops of bergamot, again, which is uplifting, and it eases emotional heaviness. 3 drops of frankincense. That's deep and grounding, and it stabilizes your mind. 2 drops of Roman chamomile. That helps to soothe anxiety and promotes calm. And 2 drops of lavender, as we know that helps to relax our body and emotions. And then 1 drop of ylang-ylang, and that helps to support emotional release and opens the heart. This particular oil blend helps to address emotional and heart side of stress. And it brings your nervous system back towards a parasympathetic system, which is dealing with rest and digestion, which is good. Okay, guys. So I have given you lots of great information today, including food, a nice recipe that's simple. I've given you some oil blends for you to use to help with your stress. I hope that you're able to take everything down, because I think the information is going to really, really help you in the long run. Okay. We've come to the close of our session for today. But I love talking and sharing all of these great tips with you, and how we as women can take back our lives through the power of our what? Our plate. And with that being said, if ever you guys are looking to have a more personalized program that can actually include essential oils, you want to definitely contact me and go to my website, www.nutritionnewdesign.com. I would love to sit down and have a session with you. And we could talk further about not only a meal plan and your next steps. And we talk about oil blends and what you can do. And not to mention, I have the good oils. I definitely do. I come prepared, that's for sure. And you know that wellness is not just a journey, but it's a what? It's a lifestyle, guys. We can do this. We can do this. But we just have to start today. We have to say to ourselves, hey, I'm not going to be stressed anymore. I'm going to help myself to no longer be stressed because we know it can lead to other conditions. Okay, guys. Again, I hope that you enjoyed this session today, and I hope I was able to cover many things for you. Be sure to listen back to this podcast. If you missed anything, you need to write anything down, you can also reach out to me. And be sure to share. Just like you're getting this great information to help you, you want to share with your friends and your family so they can get this great information as well. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And until next time, I will see you soon. And hopefully, my voice won't be half gone. It hopefully will be here stronger. But I don't care. Nothing's going to stop me from talking to you. Have a great rest of your day, guys. See you soon.